In a small, forgotten village in the Philippines, a young boy lived a life marked by struggle and hardship. His family's home was nothing more than a fragile shack with thin wooden walls and a roof that leaked whenever the rains poured down. At night, the sound of dripping water mixed with the growls of an empty stomach, reminding him of the poverty that wrapped around his family like a heavy chain. Yet, despite these hardships, there was something inside this boy that poverty could not take away: his love for music. He had found an old, half-broken guitar that someone had discarded. Its strings were rusted, its body cracked, but to him, it was a priceless treasure. Sitting outside under the starlit sky, he would hold that guitar close to his chest and strum gently, creating melodies that carried his dreams far beyond the borders of his little village. He would close his eyes and imagine himself standing on a grand stage, lights shining down, with people listening to his voice in complete silence. Every song he sang was not just a practice, it was a prayer. A prayer for a better tomorrow, for an escape from hunger, and for a chance to show the world that even a boy born in poverty could carry something beautiful within him. His neighbors sometimes paused to listen, touched by the raw emotion in his voice. For them, he was just a poor boy chasing an impossible dream. But deep inside, he believed his voice was his only ticket out of the shadows. Little did he know, those late-night songs under the stars were preparing him for a moment that would change his life forever. One ordinary afternoon, fate intervened. At a small community event, the boy was asked to sing in front of a few locals. He hesitated at first, shy and unsure, but the moment he opened his mouth, the crowd went silent. Among the listeners was a man who recognized the gift hidden inside that fragile-looking boy. Impressed and moved, he told him about a major talent show and urged him to audition. At first, the boy thought it was impossible. How could someone like him, with nothing but a broken guitar, ever stand on such a big stage? But deep inside, the dream he carried for years told him to take the chance. Weeks later, standing backstage at the massive talent competition, the boy's heart pounded like a drum. He could hear the roar of the audience, see the dazzling lights shining over the stage, and feel the weight of every dream on his shoulders. He wore the only decent clothes he owned, still old and worn, but clean. When his name was called, he walked out slowly. The judges looked at him with curiosity, the audience whispered, judging his appearance before he even spoke. He looked small, fragile, and out of place against the grandeur of the stage. Yet, when he reached the microphone, he took a deep breath and lifted his eyes with determination. At that very moment, the boy decided he would not let poverty define him. This was his chance, perhaps the only one he would ever get, and he was ready to give everything he had. The stage fell silent, the lights focused on him, and the entire hall waited to hear the voice of a boy who carried nothing but his dreams. The boy's fingers gently touched the strings of his guitar, sending out the opening chords of Hotel California. The audience, still uncertain about what to expect, leaned forward. His voice rose softly at first, clear, steady, and filled with an innocence that immediately captured attention. Within seconds, the atmosphere inside the hall shifted. The whispers died. Every eye was on him. As the song progressed, his voice grew stronger, carrying both the pain of his struggles and the purity of his dreams. He wasn't just singing lyrics, he was pouring out his life story. Each note carried hunger, loneliness, hope, and determination. The familiar words of the song suddenly felt new, alive with raw emotion. The boy wasn't copying the original, he was transforming it into something of his own. The judges, who moments ago had doubted him, now leaned forward in amazement. One tapped a hand gently on the table in rhythm, another closed their eyes, visibly moved by the depth of his voice. The audience, spellbound, sat in silence, afraid to break the magic unfolding before them. Then came the high notes, unexpected, powerful, and flawless. Gasps echoed across the theater. Some people even wiped tears from their eyes. By the time he reached the final verse, it felt as if the entire hall was under a spell. The boy wasn't just performing a song, he was giving the world his soul wrapped in melody. For those few minutes, poverty, struggle, and doubt all disappeared. What stood before them was not a poor boy anymore, but an artist destined to shine. When the last chord faded, the silence that followed was heavier than thunder, the kind of silence that only happens after greatness has been witnessed. The final note lingered in the air, trembling like a heartbeat, and then faded into silence. For a split second, the theater was still, so still that the boy could hear his own nervous breathing. Then, all at once, the hall erupted. The audience leapt to their feet in a roaring standing ovation, clapping, cheering, and shouting his name. The poor Filipino boy who had walked onto the stage with nothing but a broken guitar was now commanding the hearts of thousands. The judges looked at each other in awe. One covered her mouth in disbelief, another's eyes glistened with tears. They had seen countless performers, but something about this boy was different. His voice carried truth, pain, and hope all in one. The lead judge leaned toward the microphone, his voice thick with emotion, and said, "That was not just a performance. That was a miracle." And then, it happened. With a swift, powerful slam, one of the judges hit the golden buzzer. The sound echoed like thunder, and instantly, golden confetti exploded from above, cascading down onto the stage. The boy's eyes widened, his guitar slipped slightly from his hands, and tears began streaming down his cheeks. He covered his face in shock, unable to believe what was happening. The audience screamed louder, waving their arms in celebration, as if they had all won alongside him. He fell to his knees, overwhelmed, his small figure drowned in a shower of golden lights. The dream he once whispered under the stars had now become reality in front of the world. That single moment transformed him, not just into a singer, but into a symbol of resilience, hope, and the power of never giving up. Even before the show ended, clips of his breathtaking performance spread like wildfire across the internet. Fans in the audience had already uploaded videos, and within hours, millions were watching. Headlines appeared everywhere: "Poor Filipino boy crushes Hotel California, golden buzzer." People across the globe were sharing the moment, moved not only by his voice but by the story of a boy who had risen from poverty to inspire the world. Social media exploded with comments. Some said his version of Hotel California gave them chills, others confessed it brought them to tears. Viewers from America, Europe, and Asia all felt connected by the raw emotion in his performance. Overnight, he became a symbol of hope, a reminder that talent and determination could break through even the harshest circumstances. Back in his village, neighbors gathered around small TV screens and mobile phones, cheering and crying as they saw their boy on the world stage. Parents hugged their children tighter, telling them, "Look, dreams are real if you fight for them." For the first time, the boy's community felt a sense of pride and unity that poverty had long overshadowed. In the following days, offers came pouring in, interviews, invitations to perform, and words of encouragement from international stars. Yet, through it all, the boy remained humble. He never forgot the nights he spent under the stars with his old guitar, dreaming of this very moment. His journey from a forgotten village to global recognition wasn't just about fame, it was about resilience, faith, and the power of a dream carried in the heart of a child. And as the world continued to watch his golden buzzer moment, one truth echoed everywhere: greatness can come from the humblest of beginnings.